just kind of get things set up and ready to go, because if you start chit-chatting, then you forget what you've done. And that happens to me. Okay. Sorry.
Could you give me another pair of socks, Kathy, in a different color? No, because all they have is yellow at home.
No, I've got some from childbirth. They were brown. I'll bring them. I kept a whole drawer of them. I don't know.
I
Okay.
had a bunch of them at one time, but they weren't as big as the Beaumont ones.
So I like your idea of wrapping all the way up the leg. The reason we did the wrapping was to cushion her ankle a little bit and to make the taper more even. She has less swelling now, so there's not as much of an indentation there. So let's do what you did. And again, this may change, but for now, we'll just, this is called Artiflex, and this is the layer. This doesn't have compression, so it may be droopy in spots, but we can go around her ankle and her heel and make sure that's cushioned. And then we seem to have enough to go all the way up the leg, so let's go all the way up the leg with it. It'll just provide another layer of cushioning so that when you have the compression rolled foam, it doesn't indent as much. So I just tuck this in just a little bit at the top, and then start at the toes. And now I'm going to use this one for the ankle and foot. So when I come up a little bit more, go ahead and point your toes up to the ceiling. The tricky part is getting the heel.
I know, it doesn't.
It doesn't want to
The heel's in the way, it doesn't want to
okay,
lay right.
I got
yeah.
it. So then I do a little dart in the back just to tuck that in. And then when I get to here, I just go ahead and put your foot down. You can tuck it, or I just put the next one right on top of it. And when I roll around, then it captures it.
Okay.
So as far as overlap goes, you've got from here to here, you've got this whole roll, so maybe a little closer together just so you space it correctly. All it's doing is providing a layer of cushioning for her to distribute the forces of the compression wrapping. So we go up to where her kneecap is. Go ahead and bend your knee. So the bottom of her kneecap's right there. We'll take it up to that level and then just tuck it in.
Tuck it in.
And don't worry if it's floppy, because we're gonna have the compression wraps covering it. Next, we go to the toes. Go around the foot one time.
See, that's the part we forgot.
That's okay, you only saw it once. Then we're doing toes 1, 2, 3, and 4. It doesn't matter which end you start at. We don't have to wrap the pinky toe. So I spiral down to the end of the toe, which would be sort of at the base of the toenail. And then I'm gonna work my way down to the base of the toe. So I went around twice for the big toe. Now I follow where the wrap's going. So it's going that way. I just go around the back of the foot, come around the top of the foot, and come down to toe number 2. So there are lots of combinations that are okay to do for this. It doesn't have to be a certain direction. If you're left-handed, you might go the other way. So the second thing is, when you're in between toes, rather than pulling it up, you just take your finger and feed it through. That way you're not putting tension on this. So this doesn't have tension, it's just going around the
each
toes.
toe she goes around.
So
the
each
foot.
toe, and then I
Okay.
go around the foot again.
That's where we messed up. Okay.
So now I'm gonna come down here to toe number 3. I'm using my finger to push it through so I'm not pulling tight. Making sure I get the very base of the toe, which still needs, we'll do it one more time. So that's number 3. Now I'm going around the foot and coming back down.
That's why that was so long, we couldn't figure out why it was
Why
so
it was so long, yeah, going around the foot, and I went around this foam,
Oh, okay.
which is wider. But what that does is it cushions the top of your foot from these
And
layers.
it sounds like it's important to get to the base of the toe.
Get to the
Yes,
base of the
yes.
toe. And I'll just,
But not tight.
but not tight, gently bring it through. So we did all
So
four
it's just a
toes.
loose wrap.
Yes. And then I just tucked it in. So I don't have any tape on yet. So then I have 2 wraps for the ankle and foot, 2 wraps for the calf. I take one of the smaller one, start where I left off at where the toes meet the foot.
Yep.
And then I'm gonna go around. And not pulling tight, but definitely taking up the slack. So taking up the slack means if I'm not taking up the slack, it's kind of loose.
Yeah.
But if I take up the
Just lays
slack,
it on there.
yeah, I just pull it so that it's not floppy. So now I just start to go uphill, overlapping about 50%,
Oh, okay.
about. Now point the toes up, and that's important because if you wrap the foot with the toes pointed down, then it's harder to bring the toes up when you're walking. Now I'm gonna go around the bottom of this leg, kind of doing a figure 8 or a crisscross to get to the heel and the ankle. And again, lots of ways to do this. This is just the way that I choose because she has a lot of movement with the foot when she's walking. I'm gonna do 2 here just because it's a little bit. So then I'm using the tape. Go ahead and come back down. How's it feel so far?
Good.
Okay. So now the second one, we'll do exactly the same way. I'm gonna get it all lined up, not pulling tight.
Okay, the 2 narrow ones, Herb, are on the bottom,
On the
yeah.
foot,
See, we
Yeah,
weren't doing
on
it.
the smaller
Yeah, we weren't doing it.
diameter.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll lift this up a little bit. Just taking up the slack.
Putting this on YouTube.
I hope you have my best side.
Absolutely.
I hope we have my best leg.
Let's see, I want to get the heel just a little bit more. Okay. So sometimes it slides around a bit in the back. You just go ahead and come back up. So you just you try to overlap it so it's more equal. Sometimes you have to do a couple more there. Just don't do it tight. And
But not to pull it tight.
not to pull it tight.
Don't stretch the material.
Don't have to. Nope.
No.
Okay, so now we've covered her heel, her ankle, her foot, and we'll just now with the next width, and if you're unsure if you have enough layers or enough compression, you can squeeze it and see where it feels softer, and that'll mean there's less compression there, and you'll get a feel for that after you've done it a while. So now I'm just gonna work up her leg with this wrap. And once I get up here, I just untuck and,
Okay.
and I'll capture it with this compression wrap. So I like to use the 2-inch or 3-inch length. I know you have the shorter ones, so that's why I'm using 2 of them.
Oh, okay.
The tape, you can play around with that. I'm just, probably I would just use 1 longer piece there.
Yeah.
But you can do it however you like. Okay, so the last one.
So the two narrow ones go around the foot and ankle.
Correct.
Bottom.
The wider ones, the two wider ones go
Around
around
her calf.
the calf and
That is correct.
up to the knee.
Yep, so the video will be there that you can go back and look at for the toes, because even though you saw it twice, sometimes it's until you do it a couple times.
Yeah.
And you have it in your tactile
Yeah,
memory.
we had missed the wrap around the foot. when they-
Yeah,
I
of
didn't think I
course.
should be here.
You what?
I told him not to bother coming, and he says, "Oh yes, I have to."
Why?
I just thought he'd want to stay home, and he didn't.
Oh. Maybe he will one day. Okay.
She'll be glad I came.
So then I just cover it with 2 pieces at the end so that
Right.
you can't get underneath the
Yeah.
the compression wrap at all. And then I cover that tape up so it doesn't friction and curl. And then these
Okay.
pants are perfect for fitting over. And then I put a sock on and then the shoe. So I'm gonna grab this
Take
one
your sock.
because that way, do you sleep with this sock on?
I think I